A lovely and warm welcome to the news on Hope Channel Zambia television that changes lives. Let's take a look at stories making headlines in our news today. Stored toilets in Mutendere B section, an eyesore to residents. Gembe lawmaker challenges other members of parliament to source funds for development in their constituencies beyond CDF. The Electoral Commission of Zambia is pondering on diaspora voting ahead of the 2026 elections. Mobile restaurant owners cash in big during UNZA graduation. And Almost Home Crusade concludes with 15 people baptized in Kanyama Mission District. We have details of these stories and more coming up shortly. Don't go away.
My wife, bumper harvest. Eh?
Daddy,
I'm telling you.
your new fertilizer. Niamini.
Eh?
Iye daddy
Tell
Hello. My instructions. Ya kunka bwino mwamene.
I went to ETG, and now we are enjoying the benefits of using a blended D-compound fertilizer as basil and Kynoplus as top-dressing fertilizer instead of urea that we used last year. Now look here. This year, it has given me 4 tons. 4 tons. But last year, it was only 1.8 tons. Kynoplus has given all my crops the nitrogen that I paid for. Wow. It has saved me money. Telling you.
Understanding the difference between soil and crop-specific fertilizers, therein lies strength for Kynoplus blended fertilizers. More value in a bag. Available in the ETG depots countrywide, with a network providing agronomy services to farmers across the country. Kynoplus. Enhanced efficiency through innovation. A product of ETG.
Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm Bright Sinkozi with the details. My sign language interpreter is Sharon Akufuna. Gembe Member of Parliament Annie Gasune says it is imperative for other lawmakers to source for funds aside the Constituency Development Funds, CDF, when implementing projects in their constituencies. She says in as much as government has provided funds for development, outsourcing is also important for development. Ms. Gasune, who is also a founder of Foundation of Life Africa, a non-governmental organization, says through the organization she was able to construct a hospital which upon completion will cost over $1 million. She says the hospital will not only serve as a beam of light, but will also preserve many lives in Igembe constituency. Chitanda Lumamba Hospital was handed over to the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Northern Zambia Union Conference and is expected to be officially opened in June this year by Republican President Hakainde Hichilema. Meanwhile, Fountain of Life Africa co-founder Mark Simo says the organization seeks to improve the standards of people's lives, especially in rural areas, through the construction of health and education institutions. We have details in this report.
In a bid to meet government's efforts to improve the health welfare of people in rural areas, Fountain of Life Africa, a non-governmental organization founded by Kembe Member of Parliament Annie Gasune, constructed Chitanda Lumamba Adventist Hospital in Kembe constituency. The Member of Parliament has since urged other MPs to source for more funds beyond the constituency development funds in order to bring more development in constituencies.
That away from CDF, which is about 28.3 million kwacha now, we have partners such the organization that I founded, Fountain of Life Africa, who have built this hospital, which is over $500,000. And also we gave it to the Seventh Adventist Church. So this hospital is going to be called Chitanda Lumamba Seventh Seventh Adventist Hospital. Really, by the time this hospital will be completed, by the time it will be equipped, you are talking of $1 million plus. And we are very excited also to announce that when the President of the Republic of Zambia heard that there was this hospital, who happens to be a member for the Seventh Adventist, he was so excited that he is on hold to come and officiate this hospital. Really, what we are trying to show is that as members of parliament, we are not just depending on CDF funds. We are also using our own contacts. We are also using other donors because government cannot do it all.
And Fountain of Life Africa co-founder Maximo says the organization is committed to saving more communities in the country.
We were founded 12 years ago, and the purpose and mission of Fountain of Life Africa is to provide clean, life-giving water, access to basic education, and healthcare services to some of the most rural areas within Zambia. With my co-founder, the Honourable Princess Kusune, MP, and Deputy Chief Whip, we have established a foundation here that allows us to reach into some of the most remote areas.
The SDHH, in whose hands the hospital was handed over to, expressed gratitude.
So happy that Fola gave this structure to say, can the Seventh-day Adventist take charge of this structure? And we saw the hospital administrator is standing there and the business manager. Though the church is a non-profit making unit organization.
Upon full completion, the hospital will cost over $1 million, and the Ministry of Health has pledged to support the hospital with over 30 health workers. Mwenyemianga, Hope News, Central Province.
Now, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, says it is considering with wide consultation on the possibility of registering Zambians in the diaspora as voters in the coming elections. ECZ Chairperson Mwangala Zalomis, speaking during an engagement between the Commission and representatives of political parties in Lusaka today, said the Commission will consult stakeholders such as political parties and others who have implemented diaspora voting to learn more and appreciate the challenges. Mrs. Zalomisi, in her first meeting since her appointment in December last year, assured political parties of the Commission's determination to iron out many concerns, among them continuous registration of voters, e-voting, diaspora voting, ballot printing, and electoral law reforms.
The Commission met with yourselves in this manner in February last year, where various issues were discussed, and among them, these were continuous registration of voters, diaspora voting, e-voting, and electoral law reforms. Diaspora voting. Being a sensitive electoral matter, the Commission is still interrogating and consulting on this issue, hence the convening of this meeting, so that as stakeholders, you may share your views on it, and the Commission will further consult other jurisdictions that have implemented it to learn more and also appreciate the challenges. Electronic voting. This is another key but very sensitive issue in the electoral process, which the Commission is still consulting with stakeholders like yourselves and other jurisdictions where it has been implemented to learn best practices and challenges associated with e-voting. As such, this issue will be a matter of continuous deliberations among various interest groups. We may not exhaust it today, but stakeholders will be allowed time to share their opinions with the Commission. Ballot paper printing. The Commission is aware of the debates that have characterized the printing of ballot papers in Zambia. In response, the Commission is invited interested printers, both locally and internationally, to express interest in this exercise and is yet to get the responses. However, your opinions on the same will be highly guiding to the Commission, taking into account the capacities and security features around the bidding printers.
Now, Tourism Minister Roden Sigumba says the country is steadily recovering from the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, which adversely affected the tourism sector and the global economy by utilizing tourism education. Speaking when he officiated at the Travel, Hospitality and Tourism Summit in Lusaka today, Mr. Sigumba says he is alive to the fact that this sector has continued to face numerous challenges post-COVID-19, among which is issues to do with low quality of job seekers, and to address this, government has identified the role tourism education plays in preparing individuals to gain professional and unique practical skills required by the tourism industry. Mr. Sigumba said in tourism education, practical training is necessary for students to find the opportunity to put to practice what they have learned and develop the required skills and abilities. He notes that without the necessary knowledge resource, a destination's attempt to build, maintain, or manage its competitiveness is likely to be limited.
In our quest as a ministry to ensure destination competitiveness, I am pleased to officiate at this event that seeks to address and identify skills in the tourism sector. As you may be aware, this event is built on the findings of the World Trade Organization's WTO in 2021 that, and I quote, "Without the necessary knowledge, resources, a destination's attempt to build, maintain, or manage its competitiveness is likely to be limited," end quote. This statement, ladies and gentlemen, therefore puts a premium on the human capital development and contribution in our quest to attain destination attractiveness and competitiveness in the region and beyond. This event has been structured as an adaptation of the UN WTO Tourism Education Guidelines. There's a lot that is in place with regards to how best we can grow our tourism sector based on the fact that we've got the human capital which is ready to serve us. It is a known fact that tourism education plays a major role in preparing individuals to gain professional and unique practical skills required in the tourism sector. Further, given that the tourism sector industry is a labor-intensive sector, it is an undeniable fact that practical training is as important as theoretical training. Government alone cannot create the number of jobs that our youths, our women are looking for. No. We want an opportunity that will be driven by the private sector. The private sector are the only ones. The private sectors have a profit motive. The private sector can employ as many as they possibly can, but we in government can only employ but so much. And indeed, that's the reason why the PPDF was set up, so that we actually understand the challenges that you in the private sector are facing, so that you employ more people.
You're watching the news on Hope Channel Zambia just now. Let's take a break. We have more stories on the other side. Do stay with us.
Debis Mlaya live in concert as he graces the stage with a mission through airwaves on the 4th of June 2023 at Mlungushi International Conference Center. The starting lineup includes Tapelo Katapelo from South Africa.
Jerusalem. Let's all stand and sing along.
Krogan, The Promise, and we are the Saxonists. Time 14 hours to 18 hours. Charges are 100 kwacha for general access, 200 kwacha for VIP, 300 kwacha for VVIP. Tickets are available at all Showprice stores via Compi Ticket. Get your tickets now. For more inquiries, call 0965201337 or 0971252287. See you there.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. And now for the rest of the news. The ongoing graduation at the University of Zambia, UNZA, not only is it a joyous occasion for graduates, but a source of livelihood for most business-minded Zambians who are displaying various merchandise at the highest institution of learning. Of interest are women who have moved their restaurants to UNZA, offering a wide selection of food menus to patrons at the 52nd graduation. Speaking in an interview with Hope News, the traders say they were motivated to set up restaurants near the graduation site as a way of gaining revenue while offering a service to people by bringing food closer to their convenience. They say, unlike ordinary days, their sales have drastically increased during this period and have since called on other women to rise to the occasion whenever such programs arise and generate income to better the lives of their families. We have details in this report.
Some women in Lusaka have seen a business opportunity at the ongoing graduation ceremony at the University of Zambia by mounting restaurants in the area. They have told Hope News that the business is going on well and have encouraged fellow women who might be waiting to be employed by government to start up something that will help them generate an income.
Business, at least pangono yenda kumwe. Babwera. Orotina dandaroti kwetankala kuno wena ngosibaziba kuti nje kuli vokudya so bankala na vuto sakira kuli vokudya kai muona kwane ililo kuso bapita so bantu mamotoka parking ili kuja parking space ili kuja so kuti bazibe kuti vokudya vili kuno ndi papesika kocheka challenge pani hapo but otherwise business so chabe badubako ayo matenda ni oipa muzimayi wonkala chepa limota kungotinika kuti atatu bailipirira na topstar sasa la mtengo la lipira na mdala topstar awe nchoipa mzimayi lyonse afuni kusakila pang'ono makoini afaka pamozi noti na soti kutopempa mdala nigulie nkoni soti jilatonda mchitonga
tigulisako maningi because bantu ni bambiri and then ma outlet yogulisa muva kudya ni ang'ono. That's why even my university wanativomerezako kuti tilipe certain stage fee tizibwa kugulisa kuno. Otherwise so far so good. Muzimayi afunika kunyamuka kuti asebenze noti kwankhala chabe utamba TV funika unyamuka usebenza ise bazimayi ndisa metisunga bana ndisa meti tiona pa manyumba so ufunika wankhala wanyamuka utakira tochita noti kuyembekeza tikapena mdala vanetere vakudya naye ufunika kugwapo kwa ina munga business noti vija voenda vojumpa koma mamenti chitira so ni business ya bwino ambuya amatipasa
awe business itiesa ko pang'ono so chabi at least ma customers babwera bagulako kai muzo chabe pamene pali vakudya abantu bafuna vakudya muntu akasebenza afuna kudya so but tiesa ko mweka business kaliko tinagayenza cheka tinaziba ti graduation bantu pakuti isire graduation bamafunika ko kudya swanga sebenze the whole day uzapezeka ko bama flowers amina kusa flowers bafuna kudya bamene wako pa ma photos ma cameraman bafuna kudya so tinagaza bata tent kaise ko tikagulise ko vakudya but awe moment nabwerera so far so good awe chamene ngawa encouragement we jamene ngawa pase mukamvera ko ngati kuli ma activities yaso sometimes osayopa kwenda wafunsa tingachiteko vaso mwaenda ma offices mwafunsa then wamavomereza swakana but you pay kandrama kang'ono then wabwera wagulisako then kunkhala chabe machikai sometimes ise wazimayi timayopa ufuna be kunkhala mnyumba udabo chabe wanza kuza tate sinaenda kugulisa wafunza amunaenda bwanji so sometimes ni courage chabe yamnefunika
Inetsanleta kuno chikuru ni business business otherwise kuno yatendela mushe maningi kuchironkala che kunyumba so far pa nezinabojompura ko bazimai mansima pa kuchira kuti nende ma pick and pay gura mansima beta na jombora ma Zambians yanzanga.
Mebo Chitimbiti, Hope News in Lusaka.
We now turn our focus to religious matters. Petauke Mission District Pastor Alik Banda has called on church members to accommodate persons living with disabilities during worship services as a way of being inclusive. Speaking during Disability Awareness Day at Musanzala Church in Petauke District of Senior Chief Kalindawalo, Pastor Banda said inclusive worship with persons living with disabilities will help them realize the value and their importance before God as a creation. He said people living with disabilities, both in urban and rural areas, are in most cases excluded from worship services, a situation he has described as unfortunate. He says all followers of Christ should share the gospel as he did regardless of their status. Sambo David gives us details in this report.
To help our churches become communities that value and fully include people with special needs in evangelism, he is on a familiarization tour to interact with church members in the outskirts of Petauke District. His message to the church members is clear and straightforward, encouraging them to embrace people living with disabilities. Speaking during Disabilities Awareness Day at Msanzala Church in Petauke District of Senior Chief Kalindaro's area, Petauke Mission Pastor Alik Banda says inclusive worship with people living with disabilities will help them realize the value and their importance before God's creation. He observed that people living with disabilities, both in urban and rural areas, are excluded from the worship, something which is described as unfortunate.
We are now going out of town. We want people to understand our mission. Jesus sent us to preach to everyone. And what I've seen as a pastor, I've seen that in town we have done much and people are now responding well in this ministry. So I've seen it's also important that this ministry should spread even to these rural areas, like the one we have been doing at this church in Sanzala. You know, people are happy because of what this ministry is offering in the church. And the people now, they have accepted that the church was not preaching this message to everyone. But now, because of this ministry,
Special needs person during Habenzo had this to say.
As mpingo tunachoona kuti tifune kuenda mu rural areas kuti tukawaone ko banzatu chifukwa nako balipo nawo bantu bolemala tiri pano noenda muti tibaphunzise mumene mubanga basungire baja bantu kubapasa chisamaliro chokwanira kuti nawo bakwanise nawo kulalikira utenga wa Mulungu. So cholinga chatu chakuti kuyatiende tibaphunzise mo basamalira kuti nawo bena bangakwanisa kuzimirira pabebeka kuchita zinthu banga chite Mulungu amene nasunga muri befe.
Here at Msanzala local church members are grateful to the lessons and assure us of taking full responsibilities to people living with disabilities.
Maka njine kila kwene pa program ya mene obelesa ya special need ya mene yati punzisa kuno mamene tinga samalire vantu amene ali olemala ndiye taona kuti iyi ni program yofunikira kwene monga pa Msanzala Church kufunikira kuti nasewo tichite amene programu tipitirize naye sewo tapunzirako and then nasewo tiyambe.
Ni mapunziro yabwino yamene tapunzira mobatekinya care aba bantu kubabweresa pafupi kubaonesa chikondi kubaleta kuti nabebe bantu aba basatayike kubazibisa kuti nabebe aba bantu ni chilengedwe cha Mulungu. So monga ise azimpingu ni ntchito yathu yamene tifuni kuyanganira aba bantu kubasamalira sikubapasa chabevi ja bintu monga malaya bakudya nkonso funikanso nobalalikira kutenga wa Mulungu.
Meanwhile, Jennifer Zulu, one of the guardians keeping people living with disabilities, has asked the church to help her with some money so that she can start a business to help taking care of 3 females living with disabilities. She says life has been difficult to raise them and calls for well-wishers to help her.
Monga kulima niye sako kulima kama utili bweze kuno kulima mundo nivuta ero plus na manzi kondo vutika tibakatabe manzi mpatata tuta so manzi nkala uvuta tibatamizika.
For Hope News, Sambo David Betaoke.
And finally on our news, at the close of the Almost Home Crusade at Bethsaida Adventist Congregation in Kanyama Mission District, 15 people were baptized. Let's get the details in this.
The month of May has been characterized by crusades in different districts across Lusaka Conference. At Bethsaida SDA Church in Kanyama Mission District, 15 souls were baptized at the just ended crusade. The crusade started on the 7th of May and ended on the 20th of May 2023. The crusade, which was held at the church premises, attracted a lot of people surrounding the church and some from other places within Kanyama. And when delivering his last sermon of the crusade, the guest speaker, Evangelist Enoch Chitaru, warned the hearers that time was running out in their lives and that they needed to do something.
Run to Calvary. With all your burden. Run to Calvary. The short term that run. Don't delay. Get hold of the cross. Be there. Be there. Until you die. Be there. Until the coming of Jesus Christ. Friends, when time is running out, people ought to do something which is important.
Field Kavinga, the first elder, thanked God for the success of the crusade, even though there were some challenges.
Crusade started on the very day, which is 7th May 2023 here at Bethsaida. At the beginning, we had a few challenges here and there. For example, the PA system, the settling down of the wiring system, electricity, and so on and so forth. However, by the second day, we were almost settled. Until today, where we ended up baptizing 15 candidates. And those candidates are of a balanced age group. There are those who are even elderly, above 40s. We even have those that are youths. Anyway, we really thank God for the great work that was done.
And Stella Hatioka, one of the baptized candidates, expressed happiness for being baptized. She said that the message titled "Don't be fooled by the things of this world" touched her so much and led to her baptism.
And the most important message I mean touching I mean message, yeah, don't be fooled with the things of this world.
And Chumunia Mangwatu, one of the baptismal candidates, said that the biography of the speaker before becoming a Christian caught his attention and led to his baptism.
Road is not ours. It doesn't matter how safe you may be. Things can change in a moment. In one moment, it was like the whole world was collapsing on my head.
But as the speaker, when he was preaching, I was touched when he talked of his biography, his lifestyle, before being volunteered to be a preacher. He mentioned a lot of things, bad things in which he did in this world before he chose to be a Christianity. Therefore, at the end, he preached the way to say, in this life, we don't know what comes tomorrow. Life comes, life goes. People die at a short minute. Others, they die without a sickness. Others die on the road accident. Therefore, it's a time to be led.
The Joy Singers from Kafue graced the crusade with music that touched so many souls. Reporting from Kanyama Mission District, I am Munema Munagaira.
Well, that amplifies the mission of the Adventist Church, which is evangelism and soul winning at the heart of it all. That item brings us to the end of the bulletin, but just before we go, let's recap on stories that made headlines. Igembe lawmaker challenges members of parliament to source funds for development outside constituency development funds. The Electoral Commission of Zambia is pondering on registering voters that reside outside the country ahead of the 2026 elections. Mobile restaurant owners cash in big during UNZA graduation. And Almost Home Crusade concludes with 15 people baptized in Kanyama Mission District. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Bright Sinkozi. On behalf of the entire studio and production team, we have another bulletin coming tomorrow. For now, it's God bless and bye for now.